my smell good friends. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I have some Scentsy content today. I feel like I've been putting a lot of Scentsy content out lately. And to be honest, it's because the new catalog is about to start and there was some early access items that we gained access to as consultants. And I know people are out there wondering what everyone's thoughts are as far as warm reviews. I am still working through the 10 brand new scents that are coming to the catalog. I've warmed 3 of them so far. So luckily I have a long weekend and hopefully I will get through most of those by the time the weekend's over. But what I do have here today are my warm reviews of the Harvest collection. So the 5-bar Harvest collection that is going to be released September 1st, 12:01 a.m. Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast like me, that's a good old 3:01 a.m. for us. So Sunday night going into Monday evening. Technically it's Monday morning, not Monday evening, but technically it's Monday morning. Yeah, they'll become available. So I don't think you need to stay up till 3 something in the morning. These bars are going to be available still. They may sell out, who knows? And with Scentsy not promising, not guaranteeing that things will be available for certain amounts of time, I don't know what will occur. I am not trying to pressure you to purchase anything. I am not trying to create FOMO. I'm just telling you what Scentsy has told us. I feel like there's more likelihood of bars being repoured than it would be, like, say, if certain warmers sold out or things like that. I think those would be a little bit harder for Scentsy to restock. Not that they haven't. They've done it before. But I think bars would be a little bit easier. So I wouldn't feel like too rushed or anything like that. And you can certainly always put these bars in your club. So there's always that. So there's always kind of a fail-proof way to get them. They are being released as a 5-pack. You can get them individually only if you add them to a Scentsy Club. So if you're only interested in getting a certain amount of these bars and not the whole 5-bar pack, then you'll want to add them to your Scentsy Club. Otherwise, you are kind of stuck with buying the whole 5 bars. But the good news, in my opinion anyway, I think the pack is pretty good. So if you're interested in hearing what my warm reviews are of the new Harvest Collection bars, stay tuned. Okay, so as I mentioned, 5 bars, they will retail for $25. That is US pricing. That's a little bit of a discount because normally the bars are $6. So if you purchase 5 bars on your own, you would pay $30 normally. So a little bit of a discount. And you do receive a free little pumpkin-shaped tote bag, which may or may not excite you. It is kind of a felt material bag. And it's real little and all 5 bars fit in it. A variety of colors in the bars. So you have those 3 and then these 2. So definitely giving all the fall vibes there. I appreciate that. I really am liking the colors. I am a color girl, so colors get me a little bit excited. I do have some notes here because I didn't want to forget anything I took as I was warming these. And I will also preface this by telling you that I tested all the scents in an average sized bedroom. So not too large, not too small, no vaulted ceilings, just regular, heighted ceilings. In my upstairs, I did not have the air conditioning on in that room when I did these warm reviews. So no air conditioning. I turned the ceiling fan off. So I didn't have anything going that would have messed with the scent throw. Although a couple of days I did have the window open, but there wasn't like any kind of breeze or draft or anything like that happening. So the scent was kind of contained in the room. As far as warmers that I use, depending on if I use 2 or 3 cubes, if I use 2 cubes, I use my Better Homes and Garden Fern Leaves warmer. I will post a picture of that if I can find one. This is basically a 25-watt bulb warmer. It's ceramic and it does get very hot. The dish is quite shallow, so it really kind of helps you expand your wax out in the dish. And it's a great performer. I really love this. It was once upon a time $16 and change at Walmart. It is still available at my Walmart, but the warmers have gone up. Like, they've increased $5 and change the last time I saw them, because I have the little one that looks like a little lamp from Better Homes and Gardens, and I totally wanted to go back and get a second. I paid $16 and change for it, and it is now like $22. And I'm like, no. No. So obviously the tariffs are affecting those prices because it wouldn't be normal that we usually see that kind of a hike in prices like that, but kind of sucks because if you want to get a couple of warmers, say for Halloween or something, they're going to cost you a lot more. And then the second warmer I would have used if I did 2 cubes was my Blue Toro warmer. That is a Scentsy warmer. It is also a 25-watt bulb warmer, but it is a glass warmer. So not as great of a performer as the ceramic warmer, but still a pretty decent warmer. And if I did add a third warmer, I also added another Scentsy warmer, which was, I believe, called the fluted warmer. It's like the new replacement for the mod warmers this past catalog season. They came out with the 3. There was a white one. There was kind of an off-white one or beige one, and a black one. And I think the black one was called like jet black. The white one I think was called fluted. But I could be wrong, but I will picture it above. It's just a little 9-watt element warmer, but it performs pretty good. So if I did 3 cubes, that was the one that got added to the mix. So those are the warmers I used. As far as duration, I melted all of these one whole day. I did not take them into the second day, but if they still had scent left at the end of the day, I will try to remember to mention that. Because I do think the ones that were still plenty scented by the end of the day, and I'm talking like put them on 6 something in the morning and not take them out till like 10 o'clock at night. So a good long day, very long day, they performed. And if they still had scent at the end of the day, I would say you could turn on your warmers the next day, unless I thought the scent was very, very light. So let's get into it. My pups are here to the left of me, so I don't know. You may see Domino take a peek, but Jersey's kind of in between. I kind of think that she'll eventually make her way up behind me. But if you hear any snoring, she's the culprit. She just had her dinner, and she's got a full belly. She just went out potty, and I'm sure she's ready for a nap. Okay, so we will start with Apple Harvest Dreams. Beautiful dark green wax. I use 2 cubes, as you can see. Forest Apple Escusio. Forest Apple, Falling Leaves, and Autumn Spice. Yeah, this one I loved. It was a great performer. So on warm, you got the, well, actually on cold too, you got the apple foremost. It definitely is the strongest note. The spice in here, there is a spice, but it's not overbearing, not overwhelming. On all of these bars that mention spice, I didn't think the spice was too much. It just adds to the fall vibe that this bar is giving. Of course, I think the apple scents tend to give me a fall vibe anyway. It's not a really earthy, that fall leaves note is not aggressive. It's definitely not leaning towards, like, say, your leaves from Bath & Body Works. Like I said, it was a great performer. It went all day, and this was one that still had plenty of scent at the end of the day. And I do believe it would have easily taken you at least half into the next day. Yeah, I like this one very much. I think that if you like scents like cashmere leaves, if you like scents like Hemingway, is it the same? No. And it leans a little bit more cider than those scents do, but it kind of is in the same realm. So I think if you like those, you would like this. Like I said, great performer. Apple Harvest Dreams. Cider and Crimson Berries. Dark, beautiful dark red wax. So out of all the bars, I think the apple one and this one were the strongest. The scent notes on this are pomegranate, strawberry, clove, and tonka bean. So my notes say this was a fruity cider scent. It absolutely was, which is not surprising from the name. It's your typical holiday fruity cider with a bit of a malt spice. I feel like there's some cinnamon in here. The notes mention clove. Yes, I would agree there's probably some clove in here, but it's not an aggressive clove. It's not like a clove oil. It leans more to me like a soft cinnamon. Pomegranate for sure. And there definitely is that cider note. And it's a very nice cider note. This does lean very berry heavy. Now, strawberry, I didn't feel like I could pick out strawberry. Honestly, I felt like it leaned a little bit more cranberry than it did strawberry, but I wasn't hating on that fact. This also was a great performer. It did its thing. As you can see, I only used 2 cubes, and yeah, it did great. At the same time, even though I love this, I don't know that anyone would consider it anything special. I don't really know if any of these bars would actually be considered anything special, but they are that typical fall vibe. And if that is the vibe you're looking for, which I often am, I think these bars will make you happy. But this was definitely like your berry cider. So it wasn't leaning towards like your atypical apple cider, so to speak, or like your pumpkin cider. This is your berry cider with those spices. I personally loved it, and I wouldn't be shocked if it ended up in my club. I wouldn't be shocked if that apple bar ended up in my club too. That is cider and crimson berries. Next up, we have Moonlight Whisper. And this one, I did have to use 3 cubes. I went straight into the bedroom and popped in 3 cubes because this was one of the lighter ones on cold. So I kind of had a knack feeling that that's probably what I needed to do. And it was a good call because I don't think I would have gotten a whole bunch from this if I had just stuck to 2 cubes. So this has scent notes of vanilla bean, sweet bourbon, and white oak. So this one was the lightest of the bunch. I'm not shocked. It was the lightest of the bunch on cold as well. That said, I had no trouble smelling it. I did get the oak note on warm. I got the bourbon. I agree, it's a little bit of a sweet bourbon, and it's certainly not overly boozy. Like, it's not, you don't smell this and think boozy. That is not going to be the first thing that comes to your mind. But it does have that little bit of a kick to it, and I think that's where that bourbon comes in to play. It's smooth. It's not aggressive. Yeah, I think the bourbon just adds a little bit of extra cozy to it. I feel like the oak note is what you get the strongest, but again, it's a very smooth blend. It's not an aggressive oak. I tend to think an oak wood is nice, although I have had some of Scentsy's apple blends with oak that I wasn't overly fond of. I actually thought this was pretty. I did feel like it leaned a little bit masculine to me. It kind of was that one you walked into the room and you were like, okay, here's the perfumey cologne blend. It kind of was an even keel mix between perfumey over here, cologne over here. But again, it wasn't overly in that realm. Yeah, I thought this was a very nice, lovely scent. Again, I think these bars kind of offered something for everyone. But this one was definitely, like I said, on the lighter side. I've heard some people say they couldn't smell it at all. I could definitely smell it. I enjoyed it. It lasted all day. But this one, cider one and the apple one could definitely take you into the second day. This one, it was pretty much done by the end of the night. It didn't have a whole lot left to it. So this one's not going to be your 2-dayer for sure. So that's Moonlight Whisper. Pumpkin Honey Spice. This one I also used 3 cubes. I started with 2 on this and then I went to 3. Not that it was overly light. I just felt like the room would have filled up a little better if I added another cube to it. And so I did. I wanted to get a little bit better read on it. And so that's what I did. And it could just been the conditions that day. Maybe that was one of the days I had my window open. I'm sure it was. We've been getting a little bit less humid and less hot weather here. So I've been enjoying the windows open. So we have vanilla honey, pumpkin, and a pinch of cinnamon spice. If you saw my cold sniff video, you know that I get a little bit of a funky note in this one. And oh yeah, I still get it on cold for sure. On warm, I didn't get as much of that funky note. And I do think it's the honey that's causing that little bit. It's almost like it leans a little bit sour to me on cold. Yeah, there's just kind of like a feet note going on in there. And I'm not hearing anyone else say it, so I think it's just my personal sensitivity to honey sometimes. I definitely get the honey. To be fair, I'm just not a fan of honey. Not always. Yeah, the honey to me is like, it comes off as a bit sweet, but it has like a little bit of a stinky feet / sour note to me. I don't overly love it. I will say this is a bit of a buttery scent. I do get the cinnamon. And it comes across to my nose as kind of like a bakery Ceylon cinnamon. There's no red hot going on here. There is a creaminess to this that can only be that vanilla, I'm thinking. On warm, this was definitely better. I think that the masses will love it. I think it's a good bakery scent. That said, if you have like an over-aversity to honey, this may not be your favorite. It may not be one that you love. But I do think that it's a pleasant scent and that the masses will enjoy this, especially those who love like honey, pumpkin, slightly spicy bakery scents. So that's pumpkin, honey, spice. Yeah. Yeah, it just reminds me a little bit of like pumpkin roll, but that honey note kind of takes it to a place that I don't overly love. But it's okay. It's okay. And the last bar that was part of the collection is Spice Pecan Creme. And I also warmed 3 cubes of this. I just kind of figured with the bakery ones, I probably should just go with 3. So the notes on this are sweet cream butter, ground allspice, and walnut topping. I think I mentioned this in my cold sniffs. I don't understand why it's called pecan creme if the notes say walnut topping. That said, I smell pecan in this. I don't really get walnut. So, you know, potato, I don't know. I think it leans more pecan. So I really enjoyed this bar. It was a great performer. It did its thing. Great bakery scent. It was nutty. It was pleasant. It had like that kind of maple syrup vibe going on, but not cloying in a good way. I'm not really a big maple fan, so very much in a good way. Kind of like your praline vibe. The allspice in this is very mild. I would not let that scare you. I do get a sweet, creamy, buttery. It's almost like the, you know, you go to Texas Roadhouse and you get that very light kind of whipped butter. It's kind of like that. It's delicious. It still had scent at the end of the day. I don't know that this would be a good one to put on for a bulk of the next day. I think it was ready to go down soon. So I don't think I would count on it being the second day performer. But it did pretty well. It lasted all day, no problem. Yeah, it's delicious. I think, just to compare scents, if you like scents like Central Park Pralines, if you like scents like Spooky But Sweet, I think you would love this bar. So that is Spice Pecan Creme. So yeah, guys, that is my warm thoughts of the Harvest Collection. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this will become available September 1st at 3:01 a.m. Eastern Time. That is 12:01 a.m. Pacific Time. That is 1:01 a.m. Mountain Time and 2:01 a.m. Central Time. So if you want to stay up for those bars, feel free. I may stay up late because I'm thinking of picking up some warmers. I don't necessarily think that there's going to be any sellouts, but I have September 1st off, so why not? I tend to be a late out anyway. You coming up? Miss Jersey's waiting for her invitation. Yeah, I tend to be a late out anyway, so I don't think it'll be a problem to stay up late. So yeah, I'll probably get on and place my order. I am thinking of closing out a party, so I will probably pick up some warmers at a good price. I do plan to pick up the warmer of the month, which is called, I think, Forsaken Tower. I'm a big Halloween girl, and that's like the tiered skull heads that fit into like the cloche, and then it's like an element warmer, and it has like these skeletons going around it, and that's just my kind of vibe. I'm just into things like that, so I do think that's going to be one of the warmers that I pick up in my order. But yeah, I probably will stay up. We'll see. We'll see how tired I am. If not, I'll just get to it early in the morning. Oh, I should mention what order I like these in on warm. And I can't remember exactly what my order was on cold. So that's probably a good thing. I can't be influenced by it. But let's talk about what order I like them on warm. Okay, we'll start with the ones I liked least. Not that I disliked them. They just weren't my favorites of the bunch. I could almost interchange these, but I'll go with Moonlight Whisper in number 5 just because it wasn't the most fantastic performer, and I'm not huge on like cologne perfumey scents, but at the same time, I actually thought it was quite a nice scent. So I really don't think there's a bad one in the bunch. Pumpkin honey spice. It was enjoyable, and I will enjoy the rest of the bar. I just don't overly love honey scents, so I don't think I need another bar. But who knows? Maybe I'll warm the rest of it and be like, hey, this has changed some, and I love it. These two as well could probably be interchangeable, but I'll go with number 3 is Spiced Pecan Creme. I am a bakery girl through and through, and give me a good kind of leaning praline scent, and you got my heart right there. Cider and Crimson Berries, just because it was the better performer of the two. But, you know, that bar held its own too. I just really like a really good cider scent that's a little bit different. And I'm not saying it's super different, but I really like that it was berry heavy rather than your typical apple and pumpkin heavy. I really like that. And number 1, Apple Harvest Dreams. Really, really enjoyed this bar a lot. I thought it was a great apple scent. Very good apple, slightly earthy fall scent, and I just really enjoyed that. That was a good one. So that's my order from least liked to most liked. And yeah, let me know in the comments below what you're most excited to get your nose on. If you're planning on picking up any warmers, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you're excited to see in the fall catalog. So guys, if you enjoyed this content today, I hope you will consider giving me a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here where I talk about all things home fragrance, including Scentsy. I am a Scentsy fragrance consultant, so if you would like to shop on my website, I will post my link below. Feel free to use it, and if you don't want to use it, that's fine as well. And if you have any questions, let me know. I will see you next video, guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.